Hi everyone, just waiting one more minute before we get started. Hi, welcome to our Saturday surprises. Thanks for the thumbs up. Hi guys, I see you guys are starting to come on. All right, couple of minutes, actually not a couple minutes, a couple of seconds. I'm just gonna wait for it to hit 2 o'clock. I'm at the Wildlife Hospital and we're gonna talk about the hospital today. There we go. So welcome everybody. My name is Cheryl Fisher and I'm an educator here and a shift manager at the Wildlife Hospital. This is the Wildlife Hospital behind me, and we're going to talk about how to, maybe if you find an animal that is orphaned or injured, and what to do. Hi Emily. What to do if you find an animal and how to do that safely, not just for you, but for the animal that you brought in as well. So right back here in this bluish gray building, right in front of the red barn type of house, this is our animal hospital. Now this front portion that's blue-gray is open 24 hours a day, and we have staff that are here from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. to assist you, but we do have staff that are here past those, beyond those hours. It's just sometimes the feedings and care of the animals comes first. Well, let's say every time, all the time. So in the mornings, it just takes us a bit of time to make sure that we can take care of the animals in the morning. And throughout the evening, we're usually here very late as well. So we're going to talk about what is going to happen when you do leave an animal. We're going to talk about what to do if you do find an animal. And to really think about whether or not the animal even needs to come in. So the first thing you need to do is to make sure you have your mask, because if you're going to come here, you need to have a face covering before you enter the building. And we're going to talk about some of those. Hi Sue, how are you? So make sure that you're still following the COVID-19 protocol as you would if you entered a store, or if you were around people. Only one person is allowed in the front of the hospital at a time, and that again is for your safety, the animal safety, and our safety. So our animal hospital is ramped up right now, so we're getting on average. Oh, thank you so much, Sandy. Thanks. I don't always get to see the comments as they come in because I'm quite a distance away from my phone over here, but thank you for giving me the thumbs up and letting me know that you're out there. It's really helpful. But the first thing that I would say is, does this animal need to come in? So often we find animals. If you checked in with me last Saturday, we talked about what to do if you find a baby animal, because it is baby season right now, and with 40 animals a day coming in, we want to make sure that these animals really do need our help, because the best care for these animals are their parents when they're babies, and we want to make sure that they are truly orphaned. So if you do find an animal that has maybe been caught by a dog, hit by a car, we love that you love volunteering here as well. So our volunteers, we can't do what we do without you guys, you know that, and we appreciate you so much. But what happens is with an animal, if you find one, you need to make sure that it really does need to come in. So you can call us and we can assess the situation just by questioning you. So if we're asking a lot of questions, we're just trying to find out. I know that sometimes very frustrating. When you find a baby animal, you want to provide it care, but sometimes it's perfectly fine, especially a baby bird. So if you find a baby bird and you think it's fallen out of the nest, or you see the nest has fallen, just be sure that it is truly orphaned or it's truly injured, because a mother's care, like I said, is the best care for these animals. Now, if a baby bird doesn't have its feathers yet and it has those shafts that are still covering the feathers, you want to make sure that goes back in a nest. So last week I showed you a way to maybe put up a fake nest or something that might have some drainage. So these are wonderful. I have a garage full of them because every year at Mother's Day, I get those potted plants. And all you need to do is just pop that baby in there, put some leaves in the bottom, and just hang it up on the nearest tree or area where you've found that animal. If you know where the nest is, if you can get it just as close as you can also use those for squirrels. So it's the end of our squirrel season as well, but if you do find a baby squirrel, let's see, very important for you to always wear gloves. So even though they're soft and fluffy and cute, they do tend to bite, so make sure that you are using safety and you're protecting yourself. So make sure you use gloves if you're going to pick up an animal. And when to know if it really does need to come in is if your dog or cat got to it, or if it was, of course, hit by a car. And then a lot of people call and they don't realize that we don't have the staff to be able to come out and pick these animals up. So we would then instruct you on how to actually contain the animal to get it here as quickly as possible. So I have a couple of things that you could do today to make sure that you're prepared. Hi Gina, hi Courtney. To make sure that you're prepared for an emergency situation, because maybe it's not you that might have hit the animal, maybe it's your neighbor, but I always have stuff in my car. I guess I always have. Yes. So as far as squirrels, they are wonderful for getting into things. So putting squirrels out, food for squirrels out, cat. Try to limit what you feed them because they will get used to relying on you. And some people find them to be a nuisance. Hi Erin, how are you? But if you wanted to just throw a couple of raw peanuts out there, that's fine. But what we're talking about today, we are actually talking about what to do if you find injured or orphaned wildlife. And of course, there are people driving in and out of here all day. So here's my kit that I keep in the back of the car. So this box, everybody's got Amazon nowadays. This size box will fit just about every kind of animal that we have that we would encounter. So you could fit a Canada goose in here, definitely a squirrel, even a great blue heron might fit in here. They fold up very nicely. An adult squirrel. But this size box is perfect. It fits in all of our cars, and maybe just some tape. So the other thing I would recommend, of course, there's always gloves in my car. They're not always work gloves, but even if they're just winter gloves, you could leave those in the car as well to protect yourself. And just an old sheet. Now, I always have old sheets in my car because my dogs are always in the car. I take them places. So if your dogs are in the car, please do not interact. Please do not interact with the wildlife or put them in the car with the dogs. That stresses them out a bit. I'm going to direct these people. Hold on. You have found the correct place. So if you just wanted to go in the front here, you're welcome. So people come in all day long. We never know what's in the box, so to say. But here's a sheet that I would use. Now I'm going to pretend that I saw this little guy going across the road. Very cute. So we've got a turtle. Thank you, Marianne. And yes, Kat, we are open to visit on the paths. The only thing that is closed here is actually our nature center. But our paths are open, our animal housing area is open, and our animal hospital is still open. And that's open year round. These accidents do happen. So, thanks, Marianne. So if this turtle is crossing the road and you happen to see he gets nicked, the one thing that I would do is, one, be very careful because we have several species of turtles around here, and they do tend to bite. All of them tend to bite, so we want to stay away from the front end of them. The best way to deal with the turtle is in the back, by his back legs, by his back tail. Now the way to deal with it is to take that sheet that I said, and to take that sheet and make sure you just throw it over top. Just throw it on top of whatever animal it is. So if he's on the road, he can't see you now, and he can't see that you're going to grab him. So if it's a goose, if it's a turtle, if it's a squirrel, if it's anything, just throw the towel on top of it, and I just say, hot dog it. So wrap it around, and the animal can still breathe. So it's like us in our masks. It might be a little weird for them, but they can still breathe through it. So just make sure you keep it covered, and then that handy dandy box that you leave in your car, you're just going to take the whole thing, put it in the box, and just set it in the back of the car. Ah, you're welcome, Kat, and hello, Heather. So now you're going to take that box and you're going to put it in the back of the car. Make sure you don't have the air conditioning on. It's not a big climate change for the animals because that could put them in shock. And turn the radio down. So all of these things that we find normal for us and comforting for us could compromise them even further. So just put them in the box, and then we're gonna take them to the animal hospital. So we have a couple of clients at the animal hospital right now that are bringing a couple of things in. But what we ask when you do come in through Sawmill Road, we ask that you come into the second entrance, and that is 6 Sawmill Road. That'll bring you directly to the animal hospital here. We have a second entrance where our first entrance takes you to our nature center. This one right here has a small parking lot, and you can drop off the animals right here. So it brings you directly to the animal hospital. And then once you're done at the animal hospital, of course, here you go, you can see our animal housing area here. Of course, you can visit these animals, and all of these animals get to stay forever. So our mission is to release the animals that do come into the hospital, but unfortunately some of these animals, we have about 60 of them that live here year-round, and they live here because people had good intentions. Many of them were found and raised by people, so now they're either imprinted or habituated, where they're comfortable being around people, and that's why we say don't feed wildlife. Once they become comfortable with people, they behave in ways that scare people that are not comfortable with wildlife. So while they're probably not harmful, it could result in the animals being removed from the area. So just make sure that you're interacting at a distance with wildlife. Hello, Michael. Thank you for visiting today. But we're going to take our turtle friend over here to the animal hospital after our clients get their real animals in the animal hospital. But like I said, make sure that you wear gloves, and we ask that everybody that comes into the animal hospital wears a mask. So I have my mask here as well, and I hope I do. I had it in my pocket because I won't be able to get into the animal hospital. So just wear a mask, make sure you have that, gloves, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna leave the box just as it was. So you're not actually going to interact directly because of COVID-19. You're not going to interact directly with somebody in the hospital. They'll be behind glass. So you can ask them questions, you can leave your animal, and you're going to be asked to fill out an intake form. And the intake form is for us to report to the state where these animals came from. Thank you, Richard, or Pam, or both. Hi. So some people get nervous when they fill out the intake form, but it really is for us to report to Fish and Wildlife where these animals are coming from, the county, the city, the age of the animal, because we'll fill that out as well, the reason of the injury. So a lot of the injuries are caught by dog, caught by cat, hit by car, and yes, even hit by lawnmower. Just to name a few injuries. So we report all of that to the state as well. And then you'll receive a number that is on your intake form. So after they're done here with these clients, we're going to go in and see what those intake forms look like. Because of COVID-19, we wipe down and sterilize the area every time somebody goes in and out of that front part. And that is our kestrel that is getting fed, if you hear her. Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. That was our Merlin. So our Merlin was very excited about getting fed. I promise you.
No, she was in there.
What did you bring in?
Little baby bunny.
A bunny. Okay, what happened to your bunny?
I don't know.
Okay, it's just not doing well.
No, we were outside, and in our yard. We were just spreading mulch at my neighbor's outside doing yard work, and he just came like flying across, and then he just stopped, and then he's got like blood from his face, so I don't know if he got like nicked or something.
Yeah.
But there was no other bunnies around, and he's like this big. And I was like,
Aww.
by himself?
Oh, see, that makes a good story for my live it too.
He's all wrapped up in a little washcloth.
Perfect. See, she said he's all wrapped up in a washcloth. Perfect. Of course, if you see blood on an animal, that probably needs to come in. So she did a great job. And bunnies, once they're the size of a tennis ball, they're actually on their own. They look very small to us, but they are able to care for themselves on their own. And rabbits do this incredible thing of staying still, right in plain sight. So they just sit there and stare at us. And that really is just part of that predator-prey relationship. We're predators, forward-facing eyes. They are prey. And it's that fight, flight, or freeze. So that's what happens. They freeze because they figure if they're a rock, a predator is not going to want to eat it. And that's just one of the behaviors that we see out in nature an awful lot. So it does take a little bit of time just to fill out that intake form. So when you do fill out that intake form, we ask a few questions. You know, where was this animal found? Like I said earlier, what was the condition? And that helps us assess the situation before we get to assess the animal. So when the animal does get assessed, that takes a little bit of time because just the animals transitioning from a box into the animal hospital, we need to make sure that they're settled before we assess them even further for injuries. So you'll get a number on your intake form, and we will give you instructions on how to check up on your animal as well. So we ask that you give us 7 days with adult animals, or you give us 3 months with the baby animals, because they do spend a lot of time here. And we want to give you the most up-to-date and valid information. And what better information than to get that release notice. So we want to tell you that this animal has been released, where it was released, and what exact date it was released. So we do ask that you're patient with us, because with 40 animals a day coming into the animal hospital, it does take quite some time just for us to deal with the intake. So we have another customer, so to say. And just know that we don't charge for this service, and we are the busiest wildlife hospital in the state of New Jersey. So last year we took in over 5,100 animals through these doors right here. And yes, our mission is to get them back out into the wild, not have to keep them right in front of me. Like I said, our wildlife housing area. So whether it's a squirrel or a bunny, I'm not sure what the last woman brought in, or a red-tailed hawk or a great horned owl. Fawns will be coming in soon. We just want to make sure that they are absolutely orphaned before they come in. And last week I talked a little bit about that. You want to make sure that a deer is truly orphaned. They don't stay with their parents, or the parent doesn't stay with them. And if they have ticks packed on their ears, or if they have flies all around them, then we would say, yes, absolutely bring that animal in. But otherwise, like I said, a mother's care is the best care for these animals. And I'm gonna wait for our friend over here. And I'm gonna show you how to bring an animal in. So I'm gonna flip you guys around. I'm gonna bring my turtle in. Remember to wear your mask. So I'm gonna put my mask on. We are now facing our animal housing area. And right here is our parking lot. And we are gonna walk up to our animal hospital here. So from the parking lot, you're going to see this building. And it's gonna have some signs, and it says welcome and incoming animals. So you're just gonna go right up into this blue portion. And this is our rehabilitation center. Okay. So like I said, there's a small parking lot right back here. just walk past the cones. This is staff parking right here. So just walk past the cones, come up here and into the front here. But we do ask, I'm trying to see if you guys can see this. So it says, do not enter the building without a mask or face covering, and that we kindly ask that only one person enter the building to complete any drop-off. So just if somebody's in there, so right now there is somebody in there, do not enter the area if it's occupied by another rescuer. And that's you guys who come here. So just wait for the person to leave, and then you can ring the bell and somebody will talk to you through the glass here. So we have this large porch, and you can see right here. Hi, Missy. I'm gonna wave to you, but I'm waiting. I'm waiting for our rescuer to leave, so I'm ready to go in. And while we're waiting, I want to show you what this 24-hour drop-off area looks like. Does anybody have any questions about rescuing an animal? I'm happy to help you. Hi, Richard. Hi, Missy. Hi, Ed. Hi, Jim. I'm just waiting to get into the animal hospital. I'm going to bring my turtle. So, it's not my turtle. It's a stuffed turtle. And we had just rescued it from the road. So, we're waiting to go inside. And really important, when you guys fill out the paperwork, to make sure that you tell us exactly where you found it. So this turtle, if it was a real turtle, we would release it back into that location specifically. So when we do ask where it was found, it is for that reason. We want to make sure that we're releasing animals back into the area that they were found. A lot of people think that we release the animals here, and we don't. We have enough mouths to feed as it is, and we want to make sure that that wildlife diversity stays the way it is. We don't want to affect anything negatively, and we just want to make sure that wildlife stays wild where it was found. A well-behaved stunt turtle, yes. So he did get hit by a car, so we do have to help him at the hospital. So our friend is still in there. I'm going to go get that turtle. So as I said, make sure that you have it secured. You have it in the car with the air conditioning off and the radio off. Make sure that if you do find an animal that you're not petting it, it's not on your lap. It's comfortable in this box. This is the most, it's okay. Hi. How are you? And yes, for those of you that are asking, we are open. So our animal trails, our animal housing area is open, and the trails are open as well. So we have 3 miles of trails. Hello. Yeah. I know, the skunk, she's in there. She's cold though. She's not going to come out. Peregrine falcon. Yeah, we have a peregrine falcon too. So we have some kids that are asking. And of course, if you see one of us out here, we're happy to interact with you. And as our friend is leaving, she's giving her bunny one last check. Please know, the best thing for the animals is to not peek in on them and to make sure that we're not frightening them, because again, we're predators, and the more that we stare at little things that are injured, they are food for other things, and we're just kind of making them feel that way again. So even though they look like they're calm, they're really frozen in fear. So try to interact with them as little as possible, and know once they come into our hospital doors, they're going to be receiving the very best care with the very best intentions. Oh, she really is there, Martin. Somebody else just came. They said, where is she? She actually comes out very late at night because she is nocturnal, and now that we got this cold snap, she's not going to come out. So She tends to sleep away these cold days. But as a nocturnal animal, she's in that box that's in the very back of her enclosure.
Thank you.
Ah, you're welcome. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. So now that we have, they're actually wiping down right now. So I'm going to put my mask on because those are the rules. So we do have a staff member in here right now, wiping down pens, wiping down anything that they might have interacted with, and they're putting out a new intake form. We can't see anything, Heather, so that's fine. Okay, I'm going to turn you around. So we're going to bring in our turtle friend. So here's what you're going to see. You're going to see this room right here. And you're going to see a lot of crates. These crates are for you to use. And this door will be closed. This glass is also closed. And on occasion, you can find a staff member here. But right now, we're missing a few volunteers. So we need all hands on deck. So once you come in here, you're going to be asked to fill out an intake form. Now it's right here, and we're just asking that you fill out name, address, and here's that number I was talking about. So right now we have taken in 851 intakes. Now sometimes this includes maybe 4 or 5 bunnies on an intake. So we are well over 1,000 animals already this year. Let's see. We are not going to see the animals inside the animal hospital, but this is how to drop off the animals in the animal hospital. So anything that is inside the animal hospital is in intensive care, so to say. So we want to make sure that it is living as stress-free as it can. So thank you for asking, Gregory. So down here, this is where we indicate, what happened to the animal. And if you want to leave a donation, you can, of course, leave us a cash donation, or you can pledge by mail or even credit card. We can do that here. Because it does take, on average, $65 per animal, and we just ask for donations. Let's see. Oh, the span of time for this amount of intakes. Okay, so our busy season, I guess, started in March. And we will get over 5,000 animals again this year. One of the reasons for that is, one of the reasons for that is that we are permitted through Fish and Wildlife to take just about every species that there are that is native to New Jersey. We aren't species specific as far as just birds, just mammals. We take everything. So that's probably one of the reasons why we get so many animals. So 851 animals, this is since January 1st. This isn't just 851 animals. This is 851 intakes since January 1st. And that's a lot. I mean, here we are just in the first month of May, and we really haven't seen a ton of baby birds yet. So hopefully people are leaving the baby birds out there. It is baby bird season, and we just want to make sure that animals are getting to take care of their animals. So thank you for asking that question, Marianne. But here, like I said, we're here in the animal hospital, and you guys are going to see down here. You see we have these crates, and down here we have feeding pads, and we have pillowcases and towels. Now there are instructions on how to leave the animal if we're not here, and you can, just leave the box, or you can take the animal out, put it in here, put a feeding pad in there, and then make sure that the animal is covered and closed, because that'll keep them calm. That they're not able to see too far. That'll keep them calm while they're in here. So as soon as the animal hospital staff is available, they'll come out, they'll collect the animal, and then they'll assess it once it's calm. So here is the other form that you will get. So it says, well, it's backwards, so I'm sorry. Adult animal admission or baby animal admission. So this is how you can check up on your animal. And as I said earlier, just to please be patient, because I have another client coming in here, sorry. Hello, you found the animal hospital. Hi. I'm just doing a live at 2, so go ahead in.
Thank you.
All right. And we just asked that you're just patient with us and that you drop the animal off quietly and try not to give it pets and try not to cuddle with it, because that really does stress the animal out. So just know this is wildlife that we're dealing with, and it's a little bit of a different situation than what we're used to, because we as human beings want to nurture, we want to care for things, and sometimes what our normal behavior is, you know, as far as cuddling and holding, that is very traumatic to these animals, and we don't want to compromise them any further in their situation, depending on what their situation is. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them here, and I'll go back on Facebook later and I'll try to answer them all, and maybe some other staff members here will as well. But thank you, Marianne, and I appreciate that as well. And I'm gonna go help these guys out, okay? Just to make sure. Oh, our Canada geese out here are being crazy. So thank you so much, and please come visit, because you guys, I am Megan. I am a biology teacher at Audubon High School. How are you? I've worked here for 10 years, so little something extra that I do. So I am a teacher at Audubon High School. And I love that, but I love sharing this stuff with the kids too. So feel free to ask any questions. I'm happy to help you, but I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna help these guys back here. So thank you so much. It's really wonderful to see you guys again. And if you have any questions about what we do here, feel free to ask. Oh, thank you, Andrea. I love what I do. And I love what my volunteers help me to do as well. So thanks a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed it today.